Hi, this is another Comfy video. I thought I'd do something a little bit different this time. Most of my videos are to do with how to do this or that, or how to use control nets or whatever. But this is just about how to have fun, basically, with ComfyUI and the various mad possibilities you can think of. So this is an invention I call a Smerger, and we'll start at the beginning. So we have, I should start at the very beginning. So here you set your image size, and it's best to stick to an SDXL standard image size. So we're 1216, 832 landscape, and we have a pretty standard checkpoint being put in there. And what we're doing is making two generations from two different images, from two different prompts, and we're going to, what I call, Smerge them together. So we'll follow the first line. So we have a LoRa, which is a steampunk LoRa, and we have a steampunk prompt, which is acting image to image on this picture of a river. I think that might be an AI image. Hard to tell nowadays, isn't it? But I think an AI image. But you can put any image then there, the madder the better. And that results in a sort of steampunky version of it, which is fine, but a bit boring. And then we do the whole thing again with a different image, a different prompt, and a different LoRa. So we're futuristic. We're still steampunk, but we're futuristic here, and we've got a sci-fi LoRa in there. All of which results in this image here. I can't prefer this image, but there you go. It doesn't really matter what these two images look like. These two are probably a bit too similar, but we'll get into that later. Then we take these two images and we do, this is the main event of the video, we Smerge them. Smerge is a new word, which will shortly be in the English dictionary. I've made the application, I'm sure it'll happen any day. So what you do is you put a high contrast image in here, which is going to be used as a mask to Smerge the two together, to randomly merge them. Here I am posterizing it to increase the contrast, but you don't have to do that. And it's just a composite mask, very simple, and it results in this unlikely looking image, which we're going to use as an image to image with a new prompt and LoRa's. So here we have a mixture of A and B. So we've got our two LoRa's, both of them there rather than individually. We've got a prompt, which is a sort of Frankenstein monster of the two other prompts. You could put a completely different prompt in there, and we'll try that in a moment. And that goes off to a refine section that you're asking the sampler to make sense of this image salad here. And the miraculous thing is that it can make sense of it. So you need a reasonable denoise, obviously. I'm at 55 here, which is quite low, but you could go up to 60, 65, I think. And we've increased the size by 1.5, which means we have to go onto tiled encoders and tiled decoders. And this is the result. And then that result, oh, moving the wrong thing, gets a bit of an upscale with the Boti upscale. And as you see, it's not too bad, is it? How exactly it's made sense of the image is amazing. But there it is. So that was a bit conservative. So for the next one, we'll go mad. And we'll go mad, first of all, by choosing the image. And we'll choose something crazy and baroque, I think. There we go. So we'll choose the other image next. We'll choose something maybe mad and sci-fi, shall we? That's completely different. So this is something off the web. I apologise if it's someone's picture. Who knows? It's one of them. There are millions of them. It's a stable diffusion cascade image. There we go. And then we're going to decide which LoRa's and such we use. I think I'm going to leave the steampunk one on this one because that is so not steampunk. So we'll say it's a steampunk. We'll call it a city. I don't think we care about star-shaped, all round for that matter. Should we put it in there? If we put it in fractal, machines, storage tanks, guns. I don't care about guns and anything. What if we say? We say turbines. And we'll leave the rest the same. I think that's fine. So down here we're in the land of the Baroque, and we've got a bit of sci-fi. We might change our LoRa there to let's have fantasy art deco. So we can take out sci-fi streamline. That's the prompt. It's the word for the, and we're looking at. I don't think it's steampunk anymore. I think it's baroque, and I think it's not a fortress. It's a city. It's good to have a little bit of connection between the two. Is it still in a forest? No. Let's go away from that, shall we? We'll keep the high view and we'll say palaces, cathedral. Generally over the top is what I'm getting at here. Guns and machines. We get rid of all of that. High tech, it's not. Intricate is okay. Roofs, chimneys, high view is good. I think that'll do. Okay, so that's our first two set up. And ladies and gentlemen, for the next one, we need a Smerge image. So let's have a Smerge image. And I think we'll go and put a mad fractal in there. So that's pretty deranged. Sure how that's going to merge. Maybe something with a bit more contrast. That looks much more likely. Okay. Now we don't have to decide what we're going to do down here until we see this image here. So I'm going to turn all this lot off. Oh, I almost forgot something. We have the file scripts muter here. So we can turn off A plus B. We can turn off the tile upscaling. We'll enable A and B, but we'll leave the Smerge and all the rest. So that's very handy way. You'll see we've turned off everything downstream there. And all we can do now is process. And there it is. What do we think of that then? Okay, so there's our starting point. So a quick look at these close on. So we've got a baroque. It isn't too far from that, is it? A baroque city. And we've got a sort of deranged steampunk refinery. I particularly like that berserk loop of metal there. And that has been merged together into that. I think we might change this file. So let's have something. Let's try that one. And I rejected that one, but we'll try that one. Right. Wow, what do you think of that? I think I prefer that. It's got a bit of shape to it. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. And then we have to look at this, trace to always, and think exactly what we're going to do here. So we've got our sci-fi and the steampunk lore in there. I think we might leave that. So I don't think we've got a forest, have we? I suppose we might have. I could leave this the same. I think I'll leave that the same. Well, why not? Now here, I think it might take a little bit more than 5 on the denoise to disentangle that. So I think we'll go to 6.5. And everything else can stay the same. Might come down the CFG a little bit. And we'll cue that and see what happens. So, here we are with that back. And look at this. You thought bananas was a set of fruit. Oh, it was a fruit. My goodness. Where do I start? It's trying to make sense of it. Not a complete success. Not quite sure how this all joins on. And that seems to go off and attach to that bit down there. But I don't think you could have prompted that image, though. It's... this is all rather good down here, isn't it? Hello, all this. Right, so now we can have fun. So I think my baroque palace, I was guilty of being a little bit conservative. So let's change this to a more manic image that has nothing to do with, has absolutely nothing to do with this one. I think we'll leave that one. Well, I don't know, maybe not. No, let's have another one there as well. We have another fractal. Right, so there's 2 deranged fractals in there. And I think the Smerge wasn't ideal either. So let's have a different Smerge. That's not contrasty enough. That might do. That'll be pretty berserk. So there we go. And this time, I'll just let it run and we'll see what happens. So that's done. I think let's go and look at what we got here first. So we got this, that's quite nice, isn't it? I rather like that. And the other one came out as you sort of expected, rather like that. I love the clouds, very nice and decorative. But a standard bit of rock and roll joined together here. And yeah, I can see why that's turned out now. This hasn't got a mixture of contrast, enough contrast, but and it's given us this image here, which I don't like actually, which is rather interesting, isn't it? I rather like that actually. I was looking at it from a distance. I didn't think it was too good, but I rather like that. Isn't it good? Oh, this lot here. Okay, so I think we might take that one for a bit of an upscale. And the way to upscale, you look at this and think, yeah, what exactly is there? And you want to exclude things that aren't there. So, yeah, clouds. We haven't got any clouds. Get rid of the clouds. Intricate. It's certainly like that. Dramatic shadow. Futuristic. Factory. Forest. Steampunk. I don't think we can go wrong with any of those. So we can set the refine to go off. And I think we'll leave it at D-35. You could probably get away with 45 on this image, I have to say. But so we'll set that off and see what a refine looks like. So here we are, here's the upscale. We'll zoom in, have a look. And as you see, we have a very funky funky forest installation. I particularly like it's put in this sort of slightly rusty version in there. Right, so other ways to play. So I think we'll just make that to. So I think although this is quite nice, I think was a nice surprise. I think I made an error here. I don't think this Smerging image was very good. It was a bit too much dark and not enough light. So let's have a more balanced image. So there's a unlikely looking image, and we can if we turn this off, we can have a look at what that does. That's a bit of a better mix, isn't it? I can see. I think we're happy with that. Yeah, go on. So we'll send that through to be cooked. And there's our back, and let's bring the other one across. And you know what? It's not as good. So there we are. Wrong decision. But I think you can see what fun can be had. There are other ways of using it. Obviously, you don't have to use two generations. You could just stick two image loads straight in, and I'll quickly demonstrate that. So we could slide like this, turn that one off, and then we just feed this image and this image. So we're blending these two images with this image. So we're not bothering with this bit, and we'll just do that and see what it does. But we'll do the Smerge first. Just check I've taken those from the right place. Oh, I haven't. There you go. So you've got to take it after the resize. I managed to do that one right. So that would have produced a mess. But anyway. So there's our Smerge image, and it's a way of making an essentially, to be serious for a moment, it makes an image for image to image that you wouldn't have conceived of and couldn't have picked. So you're adding a degree of randomness, which this prompt and these LoRa's and the model are trying to make sense of to it. Whether it succeeds or not is another matter. And here's the result, which is okay. I shan't send that on to a refine, but we quickly look at how it was. I found generally that generated images, from here and from here, work better than images merged directly. I think you might get something nice with this, but I tend to find that the generated images give a nicer result. Okay, hope that was fun and interesting. Not much more to say really. Thanks for watching.